that also needs to be completed. So as you're doing your pre-assessment, if you have not completed last week's exit ticket, please complete that. Thank you. So go into week 3 and do the exit ticket.
Okay.
All right. Good job, everybody. Thank you guys so much for completing those assessments. If you're still wrapping up, that's fine. We're just gonna make sure we get started with a couple things. Okay. So I wanted to, one, make sure we went over and reminded everybody what we did last week. So last week we took a look at fractions again. And one of the important things that we discussed was how to reduce fractions, which is what this exercise is here on the front page, but also how to add and subtract fractions. I think the biggest takeaway, remember, that you guys need to have when we're adding and subtracting fractions, we cannot add them if they don't have the same denominator. And we never add the denominators together. I can't stress that enough. That's something that we really need to be paying attention to, is that we are not adding our denominators together ever. And we can't add them together if they don't have the same denominator. So we'll make sure that you guys are still on the same page with that. Okay, so let's reduce these fractions A, B, and C here on this PowerPoint slide. So if we have 33 over 9, how do we reduce that fraction? What's the reduce? It'll be what?
11 over 3.
Good. It should be 11 over 3. And we should get that by just dividing both the numerator and the denominator by 3.
3, right.
So if we have 33 over 9, we divide both denominator and the numerator by 3, and we're going to get 11 over 3. What about 12 over 16?
3 over 4.
Good. We should get 3/4 by dividing both by 4 to get 3/4. And the last one, 51 over 85.
10.2 over 17.
That's no.
Right. The only thing I could think of to divide it, Mr. G, was 5. So I tried everything else with 85, and 51 is an odd number.
Okay.
So it's hard to find a number to go into 51 that goes into 85 differently from 5. So that's why I end up with the 0.2.
Okay. Well, no. So 0.2 is not going to be answered because to reduce a fraction, it can't be a decimal over.
A decimal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it has to be a whole number. So what's the answer, Jules? What's the answer? It's just 51 over 85, right, Jules?
Yeah, 51 over 55.
It remains 51 over 85?
Right. We can't reduce it.
Okay. I was thinking about that.
So remember that sometimes you're going to get these ones that you can't reduce. Okay. You should enforce it. Don't force the issue. If you can't reduce it, you can't reduce it. Okay. In this case, this number cannot be reduced.
So it's 51.
It's just 51 over 85. We just leave it the way it is. Okay. Sometimes you can't reduce them. Okay. So that's that. Let's go back to Schoology for a second. So I'm gonna do a new share. If it'll let me. Okay, there you go. Oh, still not letting me. All right, so we are in week 4. We just did our pre-assessment, and we're going to look into our equivalent fractions. How do you form equivalent fractions? So the question here is, if we're looking at this picture of this circle, what fraction is equivalent to the shaded area of this circle? Is it
2/8.
A 1/8, B 1/4, C 1/2, or D 2/4?
2/8, 1/4.
Okay, so here's the picture again, and this can be, you can pull it up on your own Schoology as well. It's just a discussion question if you can't see it for whatever reason. But there's the picture. So is it 1/8, 1/4, 1/2, or 2/4? And make sure you can also put your comment in on the discussion post. That'd be great.
So I could go back to it, Mr. G, in
Schoology, that'd be great if you could. Yeah.
oh Lord.
It's good to have the answer in there in Schoology, just so we have a record of your answer. You guys know, so we can know you guys did work today. I know you guys did work, but the powers that be don't always know you guys are doing work. All right, so I saw that Jules said it was 1/4. I heard Miriam say it was 1/4. What do you guys think? Is it 1/4? Is that right?
You know that
Yes,
is no.
yes.
Sit still in the leaf class. I hate doing that.
But there's two of them. There's two pieces that are colored in. Why is it 1/4?
Because it would be 2/8, but then you bring it down to the smallest, so it's 1/4.
Very good. Yes, 1/4 is in fact correct. Yeah, this is 1/4. Okay, yes, as Miriam just said, we have 8 total pieces. It's like a pizza, right? It's a pizza pie. If I eat 2 pieces out of those 8 slices, I've eaten 1/4 or a quarter of that whole pizza. Okay, and that is 2/8, which becomes the equivalent fraction 1/4. So today we're going to discuss, like I said earlier, equivalent fractions and multiplying and dividing. Multiplying and dividing fractions are much more straightforward than the adding and the subtracting. But there are just a couple of things you have to keep in mind as far as the rules go for that. So we're going to make sure we go over those rules until we're very comfortable with them. So make sure. Yeah, is that a question? Somebody was asking something?
Which one we just did a while ago? Because I'm back in Schoology. I want to do the one that you just asked.
So yeah, week 4, you're gonna click on the third thing. How do you form equivalent fractions? Let me make it bigger because now it's all small. But how do you form equivalent fractions? The third thing. This is the discussion post that we just did.
I said no, I'm seeing due Friday extra ticket.
How do you form equivalent fractions?
Okay.
That's the one with the circle. All right, and then once you guys have posted your response there, the next thing I want you to open is the thing right under it, which are your notes. So go back, hit the back button, and then click on the notes, which is right under the fraction review notes. That's what we're doing next. We're gonna do these notes for the rest of class.
Why am I seeing October 7th?
Because that's when it's due. It's due on October 7th.
So still do it now, you're saying?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, even if you're watching the video recording of this, do make sure that you do, even though it says due on the 7th, I need you guys to actually submit it today for full credit. So make sure you guys are doing that today.
They say equivalent fractions unlike whole numbers can be used in different ways and yet represent the same value. For example, 1, 2, we were doing this last week. This fraction have the same value as half. Fraction will have the same value as fraction. We call it equivalent fraction. We can create equivalent fraction by multiplying or divide both the numerator and the denominator of a fraction by the same number. Which was did that, Mr. G? Oh.
Mhm.
3 9s 27. 3 8s 24. So we have to, how would we write the answer, Mr. G?
Okay, so there should be a little space that says write a comment and just put your comment in there. You can put A, B, or C, or you can put, you did it
Just
already.
keep going. So
Miriam,
much
you
is
already did it.
yeah.
It says Miriam Bennett, 1/4.
Okay, so why you send me back to Mr. G?
I said you just did it 2 minutes ago. As we were talking, you did it.
No, I'm talking about the ones on the bottom that says write the equivalent factors.
Oh no, we're not there yet.
Okay, but I think I did those also. No.
No, you haven't done these yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I did a lot. That's what I was texting you about the other day. I did a lot in my book.
Yes.
I didn't know how to post the answers, so I just went ahead and copied them in my book and did them.
Okay. Next thing I want you guys to open up are the notes, the fractions review notes. That's what you guys should have open. Okay, so either open it with Cami, but it should say fraction review notes. And it should look like this, just so you guys see what you're supposed to have open.
You see, I'm not able to see whatever you're putting up, Mr. G. I'm still in.
Okay, so you got to go down and click on the blue camera to get back to me.
Okay. Okay.
So you should have your equivalent fractions notes open. We're going to review those now. We're going to start with equivalent fractions, get into multiplying and dividing, and then do some examples together.
So, Mr. G, if I wanted to go back to the other page, what would I have to do instead of going through all the other process?
Just go back down to the bottom of your screen, and then click on the multicolored logo that has a blue dot in the center. Do you see it?
No, what I have at the bottom of my screen is the camera that I just clicked to come on you, the Chrome sign, and
the Chrome sign is what you need to click on. So click on Chrome.
Okay.
Right, and then Chrome takes you back to Schoology.
Oh, because I had to go through all that trouble to go to Schoology a while ago.
So yeah, all you have to do now is click Chrome and then click back. So click back and forth between Chrome and the camera. That's what you need to do now.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, no problem. Okay, so back to the notes. All right, so equivalent fractions. We all know what equivalent fractions are. We talked a little bit about them last week. We're going to just talk about them a little bit more in detail this week. And an equivalent fraction is a fraction that has the same value, right, but is represented by different numbers. So what we have here in that first example is everything that represents 1/2, right? 1/2 is 1/2, 2/4, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the way up to 15/30 is an example of 1/2, because the number on the top, the numerator, is half of the number on the bottom, which is the denominator, right? So all of those fractions all represent 1/2. And we can get each of those fractions from 1/2 by multiplying a different number. If I multiply 1 by 15, I'm going to get 15. 2 by 15, I'm going to get 30. Right? If I multiply 1 by 12, I'm going to get 12. And 2 by 12, I'm going to get 24. So just by multiplication, I can get any of these fractions that are listed here. All I have to do is multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. That is how you make an equivalent fraction, by multiplying your numerator and your denominator by the same number. Or you can also get an equivalent fraction by dividing your numerator and denominator by the same number. So when you simplify a fraction, you are also creating an equivalent fraction. Equivalent means the same or equal, right? So we can either divide, as it's shown here with 20 over 35, we're dividing both the numerator and denominator by 5, and we get 4/7. Or we can take 4/7 and multiply both the numerator and denominator by 6 to get 24 over 42. Okay, this is the method for creating equivalent fractions, either through multiplication or through division. Okay, I divided at the top, I still got an equivalent fraction, multiplied at the bottom, I still got an equivalent fraction. So what we're going to look at is right under it, where we actually have some equivalent fractions that we need to create given the denominator that we see. So the process is going to be, I take a look at the fraction on the left, the complete fraction, and then I look at the fraction on the right where that's missing a part. So I have to go to my two denominators and decide how I got from 9 to 27. What did I have to do to 9 to turn it into 27?
Multiply or divide. Divide 9 into 27, which would be 3.
Well, so I know I'm going from 9 to 27, right?
It's
So
9
that means it's a multiplication of 3, right?
Right.
Whatever I did to the bottom, I need to do
to the top.
to the top. So what's 8 times 3?
24.
So this is the number that's missing here is 24. Okay, and that's how we're going to fill in the blanks for all of these. We're going to decide how we went from one to the other, and then that's where we're going to use that math. Whatever math we did at the bottom, we're going to do the same math at the top.
So where you write the answers, Mr. G?
You write the answers right above in the blank, right? Just write them.
No, I mean on the page.
How do you write them? Okay, so let me show you that. So you're in your Schoology.
Let me go back to Schoology.
Yep, go back to Schoology.
Right.
Okay, in your Schoology, excuse me, let me pull it up. In your Schoology, what you should do, I wish this thing would work for me sometimes. Okay. You should say open assignment with Kami. Do you have that option?
No.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to have you share your screen, Miriam. So go ahead and wait, let me make sure you can. 1 second, don't do it yet. Security, okay. Okay, so go to the bottom of your screen, go back to Zoom. So go back to the blue camera. And now click share screen, the green button in the middle. And then once that comes up, click the blue share in the corner. Perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to click yes when yes comes up, when the option comes up on the screen, okay? Or click allow or whatever. Just click whatever is in blue. Do you see it on the screen? A blue button?
It's pulled down the box. No, not okay. Say approve.
Yep, great. Okay, so we're gonna go back to where you need to be because you're not exactly where you need to be. So I'm controlling. Don't worry, you don't have to click anything, Mary. I'm gonna click. Okay, so here, aha. So right here is where you should have an option that says open with Kami, and you don't because you probably don't have the extension. So we're gonna add it right now. Okay, let's see. What's going to be the easiest way for me to get Kami? Okay, I know. Okay, so now when I refresh this page, Okay, so whenever I say open an assignment with Cami, you're always going to look for this gray box from now on. Okay,
Mhm.
Miriam?
Yeah, but
Now
it wasn't there before, right?
it wasn't there before. No, I had to just
Okay.
add it. So when you click on Cami, it's going to open up. And I have to do all the permissions probably because this is the first time you're opening it. So we'll just give me one more second and then I'll give you your screen back. I'm going to say log in with Google. Okay, I'm going to use our school account. I'm going to allow. Okay, for school. And we're going to authorize Google Drive. So hopefully you won't have to do this again once I do it. So make sure. Yes, just said that. I want to allow. Okay. Ma'am, just did that. Okay, you're a student. Finish. Okay. Now, open with Cami. It should do it automatically. Yay. Okay. So now that your document is opened in Cami, Miriam, what
Mhm.
you can do is there are a bunch of options over here, but you're going to click on text box and
Choose a color.
we're going to make the font big enough for you to see. And you just click it, and then you can click right where you need to put the number in, click right there. And now we can type the number in and it'll appear on your document.
Okay.
Okay, so now I want you to try it. I'm going to stop controlling. So I want you to click right above the 10 and write the number 6 in. And then write in 6. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that's how you're going to do it. Okay, and it's everything that you do automatically saves in this document.
Okay.
Okay.
So what if I click something and I want to erase it?
So it'll be the same process. You just click back over it and click backspace. So click on the 6 again. And now you have the option. You can go in there and you can hit the delete button or backspace button, whatever button you have on your keyboard to delete it. Okay. Yeah, you have to go in behind it though. So click the arrow over to go behind it. On your keyboard, click your arrow on the keyboard. Yeah, click back in it on the 6, sorry. But then there's going to be an arrow button on your keyboard that you have to press in order to move in the right direction to be behind the 6. Or you can click the little X right there. Either way will have you delete it. So you click that X. Yeah, click the X. You see the little red X?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so click the 6 and now click the red X. And you can delete it that way too. Okay? So now it's gone. So to put it in, you click, you type it in. If you don't want it, click back on it and click the red X. All right? Okay, so now I'm going to stop sharing so that so we're not looking at your screen anymore. But now you can do what you need to do.
So
Okay?
go back to
so no, you can stay there and keep working because that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to go back to my screen so I can share with everybody what we're doing. All right, great. So Miriam is set up. So the first one is 24. We put that in already. And then the second one, how do I get from 5 to 10? I multiply by 2. So whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 3 times 2 is also 6. All right. Now I have 4 7s and I have 28. How do I get from 28 to 7? What do I have to do to 28 to make it 7?
4.
I have to divide by 4, right? Okay, so that means that 7 times 4 is 28. So what's 4 times 4?
16.
16. Okay, good. So even if I go one way or the other, remember that I have to go from 4 216, so 4 times 4 from 7 to 28, that's times 4. All right, how do I get from 7 to 56? What do I have to do to make 7 into 56?
8.
I have to multiply by 8. So 6 times 8 is?
42, I think.
Nope, 6 times 8, almost, not 42, one more.
Oh, 48.
Your recording had paused, Mr. G.
48.
I didn't hear you. Tisha.
Your recording had paused.
Ooh. Oh my God.
All right, let me try it again. Do you see it?
6, 8, 48. 6 times 30.
Can you see my screen, Tisha?
Yes.
Okay.
No, the audio had paused.
Oh, my audio paused. Okay,
Yes, I couldn't hear you.
I apologize. Okay, how do I get from 8 to 48? What do I need to do?
6.
6.
Multiply by 6. Good. So what's 5 times 6?
30.
30. Good. How do I get from 6 to 54?
9.
Multiply by 9. Good. So what's 1 times 9?
9.
9.
So,
Miriam,
Mr. G, question
ahead.
before you read further. I have to go in and do all of this, right?
You already did it, right? Or are you doing it with us right now?
No, because I'm not. You said I'm not to leave this page.
No. So if you're on your page, on your screen, on your Schoology, you're doing it right now with us, right?
I just went back to the page, so I have all of those to do, Mr. G.
Oh, do it. Oh, go ahead and do them. No, what I'm saying, yeah, you can. What I said, you can stay in your Schoology and do it there because
Okay.
you're seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. So that's what's important.
Okay, I'm doing it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just stay in that screen as long as you're seeing what I'm seeing and do it. Yeah, that's perfect.
Every time I text, it cut off the thing. And then I got to click back on Zoom, then go back, then go back, then go back. It's not letting me stay on the same page. I got it over to the left,
Uh-huh.
and to the right. I got Zoom over to the right,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see my Cami. But every time I type, it cuts it off. It's like it's minimizing.
I see. Yeah. So when you're typing, it might be a good idea to what you can do instead of having me full screen, just have me. Let me see if I can show you.
I put the escape on there.
Yeah. No, I understand. So what's sometimes helpful, and I'll show my desktop. I think that might make it easier. Okay. So what you can do sometimes is you can make the Zoom screen really small, and so it'll be just in the corner
What the hell?
of your screen. So what I can do, right, and I'm just showing you a demonstration of how that would look, is that I can have this small this small screen, I'll just put it in the corner, and it'll be like just this small thing off to the side, and I'll have my assignment open with Cami so that I'm focusing on that and typing that in, and then I just have the small little Zoom screen in the corner, right?
Okay.
And that way I don't have to, it doesn't, I don't only need to look when I need to look, but then I'm focusing on my Zoom screen and typing all my answers in. That way I can do
that's
both.
what I want to do. I want to type my answers as we go.
Right. Yeah.
Mr. G.
Yeah. So that's one option for you.
Let me see.
Mr. G.
Yes, Miriam.
No, where I went wrong because all I'm pressing, I'm just getting pair boxes. How do I delete these boxes?
All right. So you need to share again so I can see what you're seeing. So go back to the blue camera and click the share screen again, because I can't see what you're seeing. Okay. Yeah. So I see all those boxes. So what you can do is up at the top in the blue ribbon at the top where it says saved, right next to it, it says undo. So click undo. Do you see the undo? Let's go straight up from the boxes. Go straight all the way up to the blue ribbon. Yep, there you go. Click the undo. Right, go down a little bit. Go down a little bit. There's a little ribbon here where it's blue. click over just a little bit to the left. And wait. Okay, click right there and something should pop up. No? Where'd it go?
Mm-mm.
Okay, go back to the boxes. Click on the boxes one more time. Like where you have the boxes. Okay. All right,
Mm-mm.
now
Just give me
go
more
straight
box.
up. It says undo. Do you see the undo button?
Okay, I just saw it.
Yeah. Keep clicking it until all of them have been erased. Yep. Yeah, so I see what you did. Okay, now
Okay.
you're done. So go over to the left, all the way to the left, and look
Yeah.
for the T. You need to click on the T. That's the box you need. That's the text. Yeah, that's it. Now you're good. Now you can go back and click above the 54. Okay, there you go. Now you have your space to write. You can put your 9 in. Yep, exactly. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing now.
Okay, so go back. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
The
Y'all didn't know Mr. G had all this tech knowledge, did you?
So you understand? Now you see why I don't bother with all of this thing so much.
But you have to bother with it, Miriam. That's the world that we're
Mr.
living
G,
in.
funny, my 9-year-old son is doing Zoom, and let me tell you, he be kicking that thing. He be showing the lady that he lives with how to do it. I'm like, oh my God, I need to do better.
So this, yeah, I mean, this is the world we're living in now. Everything is electronic. We have to really be more comfortable with machines. Okay, so from 7, how do I get from 7 to 35? What do I need to do?
Divide 7 to 35, you have 5 times 7 times 35.
Yeah, I have to multiply by 5, right? So how do I get from 35 to 7? I have to divide by 5. So in order to get from 15 to whatever number goes here, I need to do a division. So what's 15 divided by 5?
3.
3. So it should be 3/7. All right, so I think in this row, we're going to be working mainly with division because I have to go from 45 to 5. How do I get from 45 to 5? What do I need to do?
Divide again.
Divide by 9, right?
9 into 36.
So what's not 36 divided by 9?
4.
4. Good.
Why keep on? So every time I press the answer, Mr. G, I gotta go back to the T.
It shouldn't be every time, but if you click something else by mistake, yes. But you shouldn't have to do the T every single time because it'll always be a text box from now on.
I had to do it twice a while ago. When I put in the 3, it gave me message. I had to go back to the T. I did for the 4.
Yeah, well, if something messes up for whatever reason, you need to just go back to the T. But you shouldn't need to because I was able to click multiple times without going through and doing the T.
And then the 4 now is not even. Okay.
How do I get from 18 to 3?
See, every time I do it, it's going up and up and up. 4.
18 to 3 is a division by what?
6 3 is 18. So 16 is that 2 times.
2.
No. 2 is the answer, but he's asking about 3 into that. It's 6.
Yeah. So I have to divide by 6. Yeah. The answer is 2, but you have to divide by 6 to get there, right? Good. Everybody sounds so far away today. I don't know what's going on with my sound.
I don't know, Joe. It was messing up.
Okay. So to get from 49 to 7, I have to divide by 7. So what's 14 divided by 7?
Sorry, but it's in my teeth off you, Mr. G. I have to go back every time. I don't know why.
2. Good. Yeah, I'm not sure why you have to go back every time. You shouldn't need to.
8 is 64. 8 into that's going to be 17.
Okay, 64 to 8. How do I get from 64 to 8?
8.
Good. It's a division by 8. What's 56 divided by 8?
7.
7. Very good.
7.
All right, 81.
9 times.
It's a division by 9. So 72 divided by 9.
That's gonna be 8.
And that's 8. Okay.
See? Everyone have to go back to the T, Mr. G. I don't know what's wrong.
So, okay.
Let's write mine down because I can't do this. Let's keep doing this.
Let's see here. I will share my screen again.
Let's keep going back. I don't want to do it like this.
Okay. So when I'm in my Cami and I click the text box, my text box is way too big. So let me make it smaller, first of all. And I click, I can usually click multiple times using the same text box. It normally doesn't make me go back. Yeah.
I guess
No, see,
because
it's not-
I figure what went wrong, Mr. G. When I press the T, I
Uh-huh.
did not press the size.
Oh, okay.
So when I do it now, I think it's okay.
Okay. Yeah. Once you make your selections, you should be able to, yeah, exactly. Just keep going through. Okay.
Can we go back right quick? I can't see. Who knows who's moving? Five, 7, 4, 5, 12, and
Okay, so in this next part, we're trying to represent a whole number using a certain fraction as a denominator. In order to do that, all we have to do is take the whole number
This is 18.
and multiply it by the denominator. So all we do is 3
So
times
6
6
is 18.
is what? 18, right?
18.
So that means my numerator here just needs to be 18 because 18 divided by 3 gives me 6. Okay, so all you're doing is multiplying your denominator to your whole number. So in this case, 3 times 6 gives me 18. 2 times 9 is also going to give me
18.
18. Okay. 8 times 1,
8.
8.
2 times 18.
3 times 3, 9. 7 times 5, 35. And 8 times.
It still did not fix Mr. G. I don't know what went wrong.
So choose, so go, when you go back to text box, choose also the color. So make like choose black or something as well, and then maybe that'll help. All right, and then 8 times 4, the last one is 32.
So where is it? Oh. 3 is 9. Oh, 7, 5, 35. 35.
Okay, we have one more row. So we're gonna do 6 times 10. Oh. 6 times 10 is 60. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 4, 12. 7 times 4, 28.
6 times 6, 36.
6 times 6,
36.
36. And 8 times 5, 40. Okay, and these are just, again, you're turning your whole number into a fraction. Whenever you want to do that, and you have a fraction denominator picked out, and you know what your whole number is, just multiply the two together, and that becomes your numerator. Okay, so let's take a look at multiplying.
Hello, Mr. G. Okay.
I'm not done yet, Mr. G, because I have to, every one I do, I have to go straight back in and do everything again.
Okay,
Every answer. Just so annoying. 7 4 is 28. 6 6 is 36. 8 5 is 40. Okay. What we doing next, Mr. G?
okay, we're just gonna scroll down and we're looking at the instructions for how to multiply a fraction. Okay, so when we're multiplying simple fractions, all we do is we multiply the numerators, we multiply the denominators, and we get our answer, right? So 1 times 4 is 4, 7 times 6 is 42. We don't have to do much else than that, except when we notice that the answer can be reduced, we need to reduce it, okay? So we're gonna end up with 4 over 42, but we need to reduce it by 2 to get 2 over 21. Okay. In this example that I have here, the reason that we have to reduce it at the end is because the fraction that we're multiplying could have been reduced to begin with. So if you notice that, you can also reduce first before you multiply, which might make it easier. So if I had reduced this to 2 over 3 before I multiplied, it would have made it easier and I would have gotten my 2 over 21 right away, and I wouldn't have to reduce at the end. So if you notice that, you can also reduce before you multiply. Okay. All right. When we multiply mixed numbers, in order to properly multiply mixed numbers, we should convert them to improper fractions first. All right. So that's why we learned how to convert last week to improper fractions. Remember, we have to multiply and then add. So we multiply the denominator to the whole number and then add the numerators. We do 3 times 2 to get 6 plus 1, we get 7. So now we have 7 over 3. And then we do the same thing for the other one. We have 2 times 1 plus 1, we have 3 over 2. And then we can multiply those straight across to get 21 over 6. Okay. Another step that we can take to make multiplying easier for us is what is called cross canceling. So when we cross cancel, we'll take a look at the fact that we have 3's that are diagonal to each other, right? We know that because they are diagonal to each other, they actually are going to cancel each other out. So we can reduce both of those 3's, right? 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is also 1, and change both of those 3's to 1's. So now we just have 7 times 1, which is 7, and 1 times 2, which is 2. So we have 7 over 2, which we know can be converted into 3 and 1/2. Cross canceling, especially if you're new to it, might not seem natural, and that's okay. You don't have to cross cancel, because at the end, if you get a big number, all you do is reduce it, okay? But cross canceling just helps to save time if you're good at it. If you're not good at it, don't do it, because you don't want to spend time confusing yourself with the cross canceling if it doesn't work. Is that a question? Does somebody have a question? No? Okay.
No, that was Miriam sneezing.
Oh, bless you, Miriam. I was like, what was that noise?
I'm cold.
No, I don't like this weather change. Miriam and I are going to be suffering for a while, y'all.
Oh my God. I ain't going outside.
Like everybody's like, oh, it's not even that cold. I'm like, listen, you don't understand. You do not understand.
I had on my fur coat last night.
I'm used to summer all year round. This is not for me.
And this is just the example of cross canceling here. All right. Division. division of fractions does not really exist. Why do I say that? Because you never really actually divide fractions, because you have to change the fractions and then multiply them. You don't
I was
really
thinking
ever
about that this morning. I'm like, you gotta flip the the one side. And I
Yes.
was thinking about, was it division or multiplication? I'm like, no, I think it's division, but
Yes. So it's division, the one that you have to flip. So what I normally say to you to help you remember, but it might not work for everybody, my rule is always skip, flip, and multiply, right? That's what I've said before, skip, flip, multiply. So you skip the first fraction, you flip the second fraction, and you multiply them together, right?
skip, flip, multiply.
Skip, flip, multiply. Skip the first fraction, flip the second fraction, multiply them together. So that's the rule. People also say keep, change, flip, which means to keep the first fraction, change from division to multiplication, and then flip the second. So it's keep, change, flip. But the one that I learned was skip, flip, multiply. So it's very much in my head. And I always think about that before I do division. So I never do 1/8 divided by 2/3. Instead, I keep my 1/8, change it to multiplication, and flip it to 3/2. And then I just multiply my fractions as normal. So it becomes 3/16. Okay? So when we are dividing fractions, we never actually divide fractions. We keep the first fraction, flip the second, and multiply the two fractions together. Skip, flip, multiply. And the same thing is going to apply to dividing mixed numbers as to dividing or to multiplying mixed numbers. Your first step is always going to be to convert to an improper fraction, because we can't really work with those mixed numbers when it comes to multiplication and division. So we don't have the option like we do with addition to where we can leave it as a mixed number. We must always convert to improper fractions when we're dealing with mixed numbers. So always convert first, and then you apply that same rule, skip, flip, multiply, okay? You still don't divide. So you keep your first improper fraction, change it to multiplication, and then flip the second improper fraction, and then you multiply.
Convert first, Mr. G.
Excuse
then
me?
Skip, convert, skip, flip, and then multiply?
Yes, convert. Exactly. Convert, and then skip, flip, multiply. Exactly. The first step is always going to be convert when you have mixed numbers. When we're talking about multiplication or division, your first step needs to be convert. You don't want to work with those mixed numbers. All right, so we went over all of the notes and we still have all the examples to do. So we're going to do the examples on Wednesday. Just a reminder that what is due today is just the pre-assessment and your response to the discussion question, all right? Your notes, since they're not complete, are not due today. And so what's great about using Kami is that it will automatically save, so you can close it and it'll still open up in the same place where you left off with all of your notes in it. So that's why we want to use Kami, and that's why it's a good idea to use this feature. All right, so we will continue these notes on Wednesday. Another reminder is that there are no classes next week. Next week is fall break. This will be a good time for you to catch up, to review anything that you might have. Send me emails with questions. I'll still be available to answer your questions. We just won't have any classes next week. All right.
Hey, Mr. G.
Hey, Antoinette.
I got an email over the weekend from the tutor person.
Yep.
He said tutoring is on Friday. So
Yep.
does that mean it's no tutoring next week since it's no school, or it's still tutoring?
You should ask them. I still think that they will be available to help you with tutoring when there's no classes next week, but just confirm with them. They make
Oh,
their own schedule, so you confirm.
okay. Okay.
But if you're available for tutoring, they should also be available for tutoring.
Okay.
All right.
Excuse me, there's no assignment for today?
There are no additional assignments for today. So if you've done the pre-assessment and the discussion post, you're good for today. Okay, those are the only things that are required for today.
I have leave, Mr. G.
You've done it already, Miriam.
I've done everything.
For today, yes.
Oh Lord.
Look at you, ahead of the game. Okay,
Oh Lord, that's a first.
so the notes, they were going to be due today, but we didn't finish them as a class, so they're not due. They're not going to be due until Wednesday. Okay,
So can I go ahead and do these?
if you want to, yeah.
The fraction practice test.
Yep, you can. Exactly.
So just
Can
go
I
back
question-
into
Into Cami.
oh Lord.
Okay, Timothy, you had a question?
Yeah. How do I save it if we're not gonna turn it in today? Because it basically say,
You're in Cami, right?
yeah, I'm in
I don't know
Cam.
what I'm in now right now.
So
Mr. G.
it automatically saves. So let me show you. So I'm in my Cami already. You see all these things that I have written down here. I'm going to
Uh-huh.
close it, right? Just like I would close my browser any day. I'm just going to close it and pretend like I never had it open ever. Now I'm going to go back to my Schoology and open it again, right? So I'm just going to click open with Cami, and it's going to pop back up exactly how I left it. See, all my
Oh.
notes are still there. Okay.
All right, I just didn't want to close it and it.
Yeah, I
erases.
know. Yeah, people get very nervous, but yeah, it's automatically saves, and that's why we're using it, right? So even if you're not turning it in, it automatically saves for you, so all your work is still in there. And when you're ready to turn it in, you can click the turn in button. All right, good question, though.
So Mr. G, for me that I was in it, doing Lord. Doing the work.
Yep.
So just continue.
Uh-huh.
When I'm finished, you said just press turn in. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
turn in.
if you- exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm just gonna go ahead now and do them and get it over with.
All right, then. Sounds good to me. All right, so I will see everybody else Wednesday at 11. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there, y'all.
Bye, Mr. D.
Bye.
You have a best one.